are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the second episode of our SEC preview series where we are talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks. I am Dylan Larck, able to take on Twitter. And, of course, yet again, the Arkansas Razorbacks are a team that I think a lot of people can predict are going to finish near the bottom of the SEC. I think highest I've seen them is 14. I'm just not high on the Razorbacks this year. Overall, it's a okay roster led by a coach that I don't think will be a head coach much longer in the SEC. But going through, they have made a great pickup at the quarterback position. Going with former Boise State quarterback Taylen Green, a great dual threat guy whose stats were a little iffy last year. If I'm not mistaken, I think that he's a good quarterback for what Arkansas wants to do. Last year they had KJ Jefferson. That's the last 4 years they had KJ Jefferson, who was able to run the ball very well while also having parts of the game where he was a very, very solid passer. Overall, I mean, that's their quarterback room is not going to be the death of them. Taylen Green was a 4-star transfer quarterback. His talent that he possesses alone and his potential that he has as a quarterback is what really gives him that high rating. But going throughout the rest of the roster, I mean, you're going to the running back position where you're looking at starting Jaquindon Jackson. Last year, you had Rocket Sanders deal with some injuries. Rocket Sanders has since transferred to South Carolina, and you lost some wide receivers. Andrew Armstrong's going to be your wide receiver 1 this year. But the key of the matter to this offense is the offensive line. Sam Pittman is a great offensive line developer, and it kind of fell apart last year. Dealt with some injuries, also gave up a lot of sacks last year. You expect it to be much improved, but at the level it takes to improve a team like Arkansas, I don't know if it's enough to save Sam Pittman his job. Defensively, you're looking at guys like Landon Jackson, a absolute stud of an edge rusher, who is going to be the key part to this defense. If you're playing Arkansas, you were scheming for Landon Jackson. But overall, I just think that this defense isn't enough. You have some dudes across the board. You have guys like Jaden Johnson. You have guys like Hudson Clark coming back, Cameron Ball, and Jalen Braxton, Jaheim Singletary all coming back, and some other dudes. But overall, I just don't think it's enough to help Arkansas's case for why Sam Pittman will still be the coach in 2025. It's just not a good team overall in the SEC. I don't think there's enough talent. I don't think there's enough coaching prestige to really help their case out. They even lost their starting kicker last year at the NFL. He is now the kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Cam Little. They also lost their punter to Cincinnati, Max Fletcher. But I think they made some solid grabs in the portal. Getting guys again like Taylen Green. You got a wide receiver in Jordan Anthony. You got a couple of offensive linemen and Xavion Sorey from Georgia and Addison Nichols from Tennessee. I mean, you're in Keyshawn Blackstock from Michigan State. You picked up some dudes in the portal, and it's all about trying to get them ready to go early. Or not get them ready to go early, but get them prepared for the SEC and starting in the SEC, because you got a guy from Georgia and Tennessee who haven't really played. I don't know why I said Xavier Story. He is definitely a linebacker. I scrolled and messed my brain up. You had Addison Nichols from Tennessee, who's going to be a guard, and Keyshawn Blackstock, who's going to be a tackle. Just going through that, I mean, you just got to get them ready to go early, because I mean, it's not starting in the SEC and going right into a team that is going to finish near the bottom. It's going to suck. It's going to suck. This offensive line is going to be much improved. It'd be hard for it not to. I'm going to say the same thing about Auburn tomorrow when I talk about the wide receiver room. They're going to be much improved. But it's hard to be any worse. Just kind of going down the list for their schedule. I mean, they're going to start off 1-0 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. But I think they'll take their first loss of the season when they travel to Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's going to be a very underrated team this year, especially with guys like Ollie Gordon carrying the load for that team. Week 3, they have UAB. I have them beating UAB to start off 2-1. I don't have them winning the next 3. It's going to be at Auburn. It's going to be A&M in Dallas, and then it's going to be Tennessee, especially Tennessee off of a bye week. I don't see Arkansas winning any of those games. Auburn went above and beyond this year and the offseason, making sure the team was ready to go for this season. I think Auburn's going to start off hot on a 4-0 trail. A&M, I think, just has more talent and also a better coach. Every arrow, I would say, points to Texas A&M. And you go to Tennessee. Tennessee's going to be fresh off a bye week, and last year Tennessee was a top 25 team. Their roster got better. They're trying to compete for the SEC title now, more so than they were last year, because now everyone has a chance to play the conference championship alongside their former division rival. Yeah, I don't see them winning any of those 3 games. Get a bye week, and then you picked LSU as your homecoming game, which is weird. LSU's going to win that game. So right now you're going into the season. You are 2-5 going into the last 5 games of the schedule. At Mississippi State, that one could be interesting. Mississippi State's got a new coach and a new roster. But that being at Mississippi State, I'm very hesitant to just pick that straight up. But if I were, that one's tough. I think I'll give Arkansas the win over Mississippi State. I think I'll do that. That'll be their one SEC win so far. So 3-5, going to again play against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I think everything's going to hit right for them this year. I think they're going to finish and go to the playoffs. I don't think they'll win the SEC, but they'll go to the playoffs. So you're 3-6, and the last 3 games you have Texas. Not even going to specify why that's a loss. 3-7. Louisiana Tech, I'm going to give it to them. I think Arkansas is a better team than Louisiana Tech overall. So, yeah, you're 4-7 going into the last game of the season at Missouri. The Battle Line rivalry, one of the more underrated rivalries in college football. I watch this game every year because it's so fun to watch, especially because it has its own day. It's on the Friday before Rivalry Day on November 30th this year. Or December. Oh, they're playing on Saturday this year. Never mind. I thought they were playing on Friday. Never mind. Yeah, it's going to be going on November 30th this year. And I'm traveling to Missouri. Missouri is a team that I am very high on this year. Extremely high on. I think the sky is the limit for Missouri. So I'm not going to give it to Arkansas on this one, which rallies my total up to 4-8 with a 1-7 record in the SEC. I think that the highest I can see Arkansas doing this year might actually be, 5-7. Worst is 3-9. I'm just not high on this team. I'm not. There's 3 teams I'm not very high on this year. I'll give Mississippi State a pass, but they're still on that list because they have a new staff just over there in general, and Vanderbilt, and then Arkansas. I think you're looking at 2 of those 3 in Vanderbilt and Arkansas that are going to be probably looking for a new coach after the end of this year. I'm just not high. And it sucks, too, because Arkansas fans, football fans, for the very least, are so passionate. And they used to be really good in the top of the SEC. They had Darren McFadden. And they're bringing back, 9 out of their 11 offensive starters, 8 out of their 11 defensive starters. That's usually the recipe for success for a season, but I just don't think overall that they have the coaching prestige to find a way not to fire Sam Pittman in the year. I think that he's gone. I think if you're doing SEC hot seat rankings, he is 1. I think Billy Napier will be 2, and I think Clark Lee would be 3. I think then you got like Shane Beamer, Mark Stoops in there somewhere. Sam Pittman's going to be the first coach fired in this football season. At least that's my prediction. At least first SEC coach at the bare minimum. First SEC coach fired at the end of this year. And I think that could come as soon as, after the loss to Texas, after the loss to Ole Miss, or you got a bye week to prepare for Texas. Or if you start off bad and start off 2-4 against after the Tennessee game. Maybe then. I was just so shocked that he was not fired at the end of last year, going 4-8. But I think another year doing that could be the icing on the cake. But yeah, that's my prediction for Arkansas this year. Let me know what your prediction is for Arkansas. Do you think Sam Pittman is going to get fired at the end of this year? So let me know in the comment section below. But that being said, thanks for watching this installment of our SEC preview series. Tomorrow we'll be previewing the Auburn Tigers, and we'll be right back at noon tomorrow for that video. And don't forget, we're doing all the SEC. So from now until football season is officially back on our screens, or at least until week 1 is on our screens, we'll be right here talking about every single SEC team. So we'll be right back tomorrow with Auburn. So thanks for watching.